What if the greatest victory in your life is not proving someone wrong, but refusing to fight at all? What if the people who hurt you the most are secretly depending on your reactions to control you? And what if the moment you stop reacting is the exact moment they lose all their power over you? Stay with me until the end, because today you will discover why silence is not weakness, why emotional control is the ultimate strength, and how toxic people become powerless when they can no longer control your emotions. Most people believe strength means fighting back. They think winning means having the last word, proving a point, or showing others that they cannot be pushed around. But life teaches a different lesson. Some battles are not won through confrontation. Some battles are won through self-control. Toxic people survive on attention, conflict, and emotional reactions. Every time they upset you, they feel powerful. Every time they pull you into an argument, they feel important. But the moment you stop reacting, their influence begins to disappear. Today, we will explore how emotional mastery can free you from negativity and help you reclaim your peace, confidence, and personal power. Toxic people are often playing a game that most people never recognize. On the surface, it looks like an argument, criticism, gossip, or endless conflict. But beneath it, there is a deeper objective. Many toxic individuals create chaos because chaos gives them a feeling of power and control. They provoke, judge, manipulate, and spread negativity not because they seek truth or solutions, but because they want access to your emotions. Every time you become angry, defensive, frustrated, or upset, they feel as though they have won. Their satisfaction comes from knowing they can influence your mood and disturb your peace. Once you begin to understand this hidden pattern, their behavior becomes much easier to see for what it really is. You stop taking every word personally and start recognizing the strategy behind it. Instead of viewing their actions as personal attacks, you see them as attempts to pull you into a game that benefits only them. The moment you gain this awareness, you take back your power. Their insults no longer carry the same weight. Their attempts to provoke you lose their effectiveness because you understand the true source of their influence. Toxic people can only control your emotions when you allow them access to your reactions. When you refuse to engage, refuse to argue, and refuse to give them the emotional response they are seeking, their power begins to disappear. It is like removing fuel from a fire. Eventually, it burns itself out. This does not mean becoming cold or emotionless. It means becoming conscious of where your energy goes and choosing not to waste it on people who thrive on conflict. Awareness creates distance between their actions and your emotions, and in that space, you find freedom. The greatest victory is not proving them wrong, it is remaining so calm, confident, and unshaken that their attempts to disturb your peace no longer have any effect on your life. Every angry response, every emotional outburst, and every attempt to defend yourself against a toxic person often gives them exactly what they are looking for. While you may believe you are protecting your reputation or proving your point, they often see your reaction as a victory. It confirms that they still have access to your emotions and the ability to influence your state of mind. Toxic people feed on attention, conflict, and emotional chaos because it gives them a sense of significance and control. Think of it like a fire that can only survive if someone continues to add wood to it. Each argument, each defensive explanation, and each emotional reaction becomes another piece of fuel that keeps the fire burning. The more you engage, the stronger their influence becomes. This is why some people seem determined to provoke you repeatedly. They are not searching for understanding, they are searching for a reaction. Once you recognize this pattern, you begin to understand that your emotional responses are often the reward that keeps their behavior alive. True strength is not found in winning every argument or proving every accusation wrong. True strength is found in the ability to remain calm when someone is trying to disturb your peace. Refusing to react does not mean you are weak, afraid, or suppressing your emotions. It means you are wise enough to protect your emotional energy from people who have done nothing to deserve it. It means choosing self-control over impulse and inner peace over temporary satisfaction. When you stop feeding toxic behavior with your attention, something remarkable happens. the dynamic begins to change. The person who once seemed powerful loses their influence because the reward they depended on is no longer available. Their words become less effective, their provocations lose their impact, and their attempts to control your emotions begin to fail. The moment you learn to respond with calmness instead of reaction, you stop being a participant in their game and become the master of your own mind. Many people fear silence because they have been taught that staying quiet means surrendering, losing, or allowing others to have the last word. But true silence is not weakness, it is strength under control. Silence is often the response of someone who understands that not every conflict deserves their attention. When toxic people criticize, provoke, or spread negativity, they expect a reaction. They expect you to defend yourself, argue back, or become emotionally involved. That reaction gives them the attention and influence they seek. Silence, however, disrupts their expectations. It sends a powerful message that your peace is more valuable than winning an argument. It shows that your self-worth does not depend on convincing everyone to understand you or agree with you. The person who can remain calm in the face of criticism demonstrates a level of confidence that no loud argument can ever match. Silence reveals emotional maturity because it proves that you are in control of your emotions rather than allowing your emotions to control you. The most powerful people are often not the ones who speak the loudest, but the ones who know when speaking is unnecessary. Not every accusation deserves a defense, not every insult deserves a response, and not every misunderstanding deserves your energy. There are battles that drain your spirit without offering any reward, and wisdom is knowing when to walk away from them. When you choose silence, you are not admitting defeat, you are choosing peace over chaos and purpose over distraction. You stop wasting valuable time trying to change the minds of people who have already decided not to understand you. Instead, you focus on your goals, your growth, and your inner stability. Silence becomes a shield that protects your peace and a statement that your energy is too valuable to be spent on meaningless conflict. In a world where everyone is rushing to react, argue, and prove themselves, the ability to remain silent with confidence is one of the greatest forms of strength a person can possess. One of the most exhausting habits people develop is the need to constantly explain themselves. They feel compelled to justify every decision, defend every choice, and clarify every action in the hope that others will finally understand them. They spend countless hours trying to prove their good intentions, believing that if they can just find the right words, the criticism will stop. But this approach rarely works with toxic people. The truth is that toxic individuals are often not searching for understanding at all. They are searching for weaknesses, contradictions, and opportunities to judge. Every explanation you offer can become another detail they twist, question, or use against you. The more you try to gain their approval, the more power you hand over to them. You begin living your life as if you are standing in a courtroom, constantly defending yourself before people who have already decided on their verdict. This cycle is emotionally draining because it forces you to seek validation from those who were never willing to give it in the first place. Real freedom begins the moment you accept that not everyone will understand you, and not everyone is supposed to. Some people will misunderstand your intentions, question your decisions, and create stories about you that have little to do with reality. That is part of life. Trying to control every opinion people have about you is a battle that can never be won. The strongest people are not those who can explain themselves perfectly, they are those who can remain at peace even when they are misunderstood. They understand that their character speaks louder than their explanations and that their actions reveal more than endless words ever could. When you stop feeling responsible for managing other people's perceptions, a tremendous weight lifts from your shoulders. You no longer waste energy chasing approval or defending your every move. Instead, you focus on living according to your values and letting your life tell your story. Your peace, your confidence, and your self-respect are far more valuable than endless explanations to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Many people spend their lives chasing power in the wrong places. They believe power comes from controlling situations, influencing others, winning arguments, or proving themselves superior. But true power has never been about controlling other people, it has always been about controlling yourself. Anyone can react when they are insulted. Anyone can lose their temper when they feel disrespected. Anyone can allow anger, frustration, or pride to take over in difficult moments. These reactions are easy because they require no discipline. Real strength is revealed when you remain calm while others are trying to provoke you. It is shown when you choose wisdom over impulse and patience over rage. A person who cannot control their emotions becomes a prisoner of them, allowing every criticism, setback, or negative comment to dictate their mood and behavior. But the person who masters their emotions develops an inner stability that cannot be shaken by the opinions or actions of others. They understand that their peace is too valuable to be surrendered to temporary emotions. Emotional control is one of the greatest advantages a person can possess because it protects every area of life. It allows you to think clearly when others are acting irrationally. It helps you make better decisions during moments of pressure and prevents you from saying or doing things you will later regret. Most importantly, it removes one of the most powerful tools toxic people use: emotional manipulation. When someone realizes they can make you angry, fearful, or defensive whenever they choose, they gain influence over your behavior. But when you remain composed, they lose that influence completely. Your calmness becomes your shield, and your self-control becomes your strength. The person who masters their emotions cannot be easily manipulated, distracted, or defeated because their inner world is no longer controlled by external events. They carry a quiet confidence that comes from knowing they are the master of their own mind. And in a world filled with people who react to everything, the ability to stay calm, focused, and emotionally balanced is one of the clearest signs of true power. No matter who you are or what path you choose, people will always have opinions about your life. Some people will encourage you, believe in you, and celebrate your success. Others will criticize your choices, question your abilities, and judge decisions they do not fully understand. This is a reality that every person must face. The problem is not that opinions exist. The problem begins when you start treating every opinion as if it deserves equal attention. Many people spend years allowing the voices of critics to become louder than their own inner wisdom. They constantly worry about what others think, adjusting their behavior to gain approval and avoid judgment. Toxic people understand this weakness very well. They know that if they can make you doubt yourself, they can influence your decisions, control your confidence, and distract you from your goals. Their words become powerful only when you give them space in your mind. The more attention you give to negativity, the more influence it gains over your emotions and actions. One of the greatest forms of freedom is realizing that not every voice deserves a seat at the table of your mind. Just because someone has an opinion does not mean it is valuable, informed, or worthy of your attention. Many critics speak from their own fears, insecurities, jealousy, or limited understanding of your journey. If you allow every negative comment to shape your self-image, you will spend your life living according to other people's expectations instead of your own values. Strong people learn to filter the noise. They listen to constructive advice from those they trust, but they refuse to be controlled by random criticism or constant judgment. They understand that confidence grows when you stop seeking approval from everyone around you. The truth is that your future should not be determined by the opinions of strangers, critics, or toxic individuals who know little about your struggles and dreams. Their opinions only have power when you accept them as truth. The moment you stop giving them that power, you reclaim your focus, strengthen your confidence, and create space for the voice that matters most, your own. Many toxic situations continue for far longer than they should simply because people become emotionally invested in winning. They feel the need to prove a point, force an apology, expose the truth, or make the other person admit they were wrong. At first, it feels like justice is the goal, but slowly it turns into something heavier, an emotional trap where your peace depends on the other person's response. The more you chase closure from someone who is not willing to give it, the more control you unknowingly hand over to them. Toxic individuals often thrive in this dynamic because they understand that as long as you are trying to win, you are still engaged in the game. You are still reacting, still thinking about them, still emotionally tied to the outcome. In reality, not every battle is worth fighting, and not every conflict deserves your energy. Some situations are designed not to be solved, but to drain you. And the longer you stay in them, the more you lose sight of your own peace and direction. True strength begins the moment you detach from the need to win at all costs. Detachment does not mean weakness, silence, or surrender, it means emotional independence. It means you no longer need validation, apologies, or understanding from people who are committed to misunderstanding you. When you reach that level of awareness, their behavior stops controlling your inner world. You stop measuring your worth based on how others treat you or what they admit. Instead, you begin to value your peace above every argument and every ego-driven desire for victory. This is where real freedom lives, not in proving others wrong, but in no longer needing to prove anything at all. When you detach, you reclaim your energy, your focus, and your emotional stability. And in that state, you realize something powerful: the real win was never about defeating them, it was about refusing to let them disturb your peace in the first place. One of the most powerful shifts you can make in life is choosing to let your success speak for you instead of constantly reacting to negativity. When people criticize, provoke, or doubt you, it is easy to get pulled into arguments, explanations, or emotional battles. But every time you react, you give energy to something that is trying to pull you away from your growth. Real progress begins when you redirect that energy inward. Instead of focusing on proving others wrong, you focus on becoming better than you were yesterday. You start building your skills with discipline, strengthening your character through experience, and moving steadily toward your goals even when no one is watching. Toxic people often expect you to stay stuck in their distractions, arguing in circles, defending yourself endlessly, or trying to win their approval. What they do not expect is silence followed by growth. They do not expect consistency, focus, and self-improvement to become your response. The most effective answer to negativity is not argument, revenge, or validation, it is transformation. When you build a life rooted in purpose, your energy naturally shifts away from unnecessary conflict. You become less interested in what others say and more invested in what you are creating. Over time, your progress becomes your statement. Your discipline becomes your voice. Your results become your response. People who once tried to provoke you eventually lose relevance because your attention is no longer available for negativity. This is where real strength shows itself, not in loud reactions, but in quiet consistency. When your life begins to reflect growth, stability, and confidence, negativity loses its influence. You no longer need to defend your journey because your success becomes the clearest explanation of all. Many people spend years believing that revenge is about getting even, proving a point, or making others regret how they treated them. But in reality, that kind of thinking keeps you emotionally tied to the very people you are trying to move on from. The more you focus on making others suffer, the more space they continue to occupy in your mind. Real strength begins when you stop playing that game entirely. Peace is not passive, it is powerful. It is the ability to rise above situations that once had control over your emotions. When you choose peace over reaction, you break the cycle that toxic people depend on. You remove the emotional connection that keeps conflict alive. Instead of carrying resentment, anger, or bitterness, you start protecting your mental space as something valuable and non-negotiable. And slowly, what once disturbed you begins to lose its meaning altogether. The ultimate form of revenge is not destruction, argument, or retaliation, it is transformation. It is becoming so grounded in your own peace, growth, and purpose that the behavior of others no longer has the ability to shake you. Imagine waking up each day without replaying old conversations, without carrying emotional weight from past conflicts, and without feeling the need to respond to every negative voice. That is emotional freedom. That is true strength. When your mind is no longer occupied by resentment, you gain clarity. When your energy is no longer wasted on reaction, you gain direction. And when your attention is fully focused on your own growth, the influence of toxic people naturally fades away. In the end, the most powerful statement you can make is not what you say to others, but the calm, unbothered, and peaceful life you build despite them. Remember, toxic people can only control what they can influence. The moment you stop giving them access to your emotions, their power begins to fade. Your peace becomes your shield. Your self-control becomes your strength. And your silence becomes a statement louder than any argument could ever be. What was the moment in your life when you realized that protecting your peace was more important than winning an argument? If you think I provided valuable content, then please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs this message today. Follow for more powerful wisdom and life-changing insights, and don't forget to comment your thoughts in the comment section. Your experience may inspire someone else to begin their journey toward inner strength, confidence, and peace.